Hola y bienvenidos amigos. Hello and welcome friends. Y feliz año nuevo and happy new year. Shooting this on New Year's Day. I will release it on Saturday. I think that's the 3rd of January. So a couple housekeeping items to get out of the way before I get underway. First item, welcome to all the new subs. And thank you to everybody that's subscribed to the channel. It's actually been gaining traction. I've been growing a following now, went from just over 100 to now just over 300 subscribers in less than a month. So either I'm doing something right, or the algorithm likes me, or the tech gods are smiling upon me, or some combination of those things. Thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting on these videos. I will be launching a new series of videos that'll be on Wednesdays. These will be shorter videos, 5 to 7 minute length, and they will deal with comments and questions and generally simple single topics that I'm getting questions on. That might be about logistics, that might be about safety on the road, it might be about crossing borders. And as an aside, I'm actually coming to you from a town called Pasto up here in the Andes in Colombia. Crossed over the border a few days ago and it has been a whirlwind. An amazing time so far. I've just been here less than a week. And the plan is to spend about 3 months here in Colombia, then head back to Ecuador for a little bit. Then I'll be heading to Canada to visit family and friends for about a month and a half, and then back to Ecuador to wrap up my PR visa time obligations. So with all that said, thanks for stopping by. This is another in a series of Feelgood Friday stories. And this one is going to be about Christmas in the jungle, which this year I got to celebrate in a Kichwa community down in the Amazon in Ecuador. It's a very different experience from a Western Christmas, and certainly opened my eyes to a lot of the realities of life down here and different ways to celebrate Christmas. Christmas is just another day for me. I know that's heresy to some people. I lost interest in it in my late teens, and I was down to do the family stuff, go for the family events and the dinners and stuff, but the gift exchanging and the shopping and all the hoopla, just no, super not interested. So when the family next door, the family in the community, the family of my host, invited me to come over for Christmas, I leapt at the opportunity. And earlier in the day, the patriarch of the family, so the grandfather, and he mentioned Christmas, he goes, yeah, no, nobody here has any money. Right? And they don't really need any. They have everything they need. They live very simply. They're very happy. They just enjoy their lives without all the material stuff getting in the way. So he said, because we don't have money, we don't celebrate Christmas in the way other people do. And that left an impression on me. I had no plans. I was fine to just stay in, relax, have a nice quiet evening, get to bed early, nothing out of the ordinary. But when the invitation came, I said, yeah, absolutely, I will definitely be there. Usually, the way that Christmas is celebrated is the entire community comes together. And it's one big event for everybody. And for whatever reason, this year they decided to do it just by families. And it was still a big event. There were, I think I counted, 37 to 40 different people there. So the family's still very large. And because I happened to be on site, I got an invite. They said, hey, if you want, you're welcome to come and join us. We do some games and there's some events and then there's the dinner. And we actually did an Apres after that. I'll get into that later in the video. Right, Christmas is not a material event for them in terms of it's not about who can I buy this for and how much do I spend on that person. Nothing like that at all. And it's not abject poverty. People have cell phones, they're well dressed, like nobody has cars. They have everything they need to survive. If you're lucky, maybe you can afford a motorcycle. But in terms of celebrating Christmas as, what would I call it, like feeding them the commercial machine, it's not that kind of party at all. It's about getting together with your family and or community, enjoying each other's company, and celebrating the fact that you have all of this in your life and you can enjoy your time and your life with your family and community. So they came over and invited me, hey, it's Christmas. If you want, you're welcome to join us tonight for the celebration. We'll be just over here. and we're going to start at 6 o'clock. When am I ever going to have an opportunity to celebrate Christmas in the Amazon with an indigenous community? Maybe never. So yes, absolutely. And one of the brothers came over closer to 5 o'clock and said, yeah, we're actually getting underway, which took me totally by surprise because nothing, and I mean nothing in Latin America ever happens early, let alone on time. And gradually more and more people showed up. They built a fire so they could cook dinner for everybody. And keep in mind, it was about 40 people. So this is a substantial event. And before that event, there were a bunch of games, mostly for the kids, but some of the adults also took part. I don't know how to explain this without showing you the actual images and videos. To avoid a copyright strike, I had to mute this. They were playing Feliz Navidad by Boney M underneath. So as you can see, this is a tree that was cut earlier that day. The bark was stripped off. A bunch of dollar store prizes were attached by string to that branch or piece of wood that is fed through those branches, and they have to shimmy up by whatever means possible, stepping on each other and using poles, and somebody who actually had some crutches they were helping to push the kids up with. And there you go, success. And short-lived, kaboom, away we go. Game number 2, the balloon popping game. Pretty self-explanatory. Here's the preparation for dinner, setting up the tables. There's dinner cooking on the fire, and there it is on the table. Delicious. And it ended up being one of the most enjoyable Christmases I've had in a long, long time, and one that I may never get to experience again, because when am I going to be in the Amazon for Christmas and just happen to be invited to somebody's private family ceremony? Probably never. So it was a really impactful and meaningful Christmas, and I've been reflecting on it ever since. It really struck me. These people are celebrating Christmas in meaningful ways. You can't buy that event. You can't buy those feelings or buy those connections with your family. It's very real, very stripped down, and they were happy, all of them. When the adults were invited to get up and make a speech, they were asked, basically, what does Christmas mean to you and what are you grateful for? And it all came back. Some of it was in Spanish so I could understand, and some of it was in Kichwa, which I cannot understand. But it was clear to me they were all saying, I'm happy for my family, I'm happy we get to spend this time together, I'm happy we had another year, all the same kinds of things. They weren't focusing on, wow, we don't have any money and we can't go to a fancy restaurant for dinner and we can't go shopping or on some exotic vacation. I don't think they would enjoy any of those things, quite honestly. And it didn't seem to me that anybody was upset about it. They were focusing on what they had in their lives, not what they didn't have. And there was a huge lesson in that for me, and something, like I said, that I will be carrying forward as I continue on my travels. The kinds of gifts that they got were things that you could literally find at a dollar store. Seriously, I don't think I saw a gift that would have cost more than $3 or maybe $5. And the kids grabbed them and played with them and enjoyed each other's company and took part in the other events and games and things that were a part of the ceremony. And that, again, the real meaning of Christmas. It was infused with meaning, and there was no commercial aspect. They weren't letting the fact that they couldn't afford to have a commercial Christmas impede their ability to enjoy their time and to celebrate time together. That was what that event was all about for them. And keep in mind, we were outside in not really a field, but an open area. There was one giant LED light that they jumped the feed from the church so that we could see what we were doing. We had a fantastic meal. Then there was a birthday celebration for someone in the community, someone in the family, and after that, the LED just died. If they would have had more money, they could have bought a better LED and had more light for a longer period of time. The LED got us through dinner, and that was the big thing. And then a lot of people sort of went back to their places, went their separate ways. And that's when the Apres started So another one of the family members came up and said, hey, do you want to go and get set up at the office? But there's a nice patio on the side that does have lights strung up outside. Not Christmas lights exactly, but that style of lighting. And I went over, unlocked the place. Well, jimmied the place open with a butter knife because I didn't have the key. My host took the keys, and I'm like, well, it's easy enough to break into this place. I know how to do that. And got it set up, turned on the lights. About 4 or 5 people showed up with a plastic bag of beers, like the big, 1-liter bottles of beer. And we had small plastic cups. And the way that they do it there, for whatever reason, they pour one of these cups, maybe like a cup of beer, so not a shot exactly, but they bang it back like a shot. And it's not like you're cheering everybody. Everybody's drinking at their own pace, but they're not sipping beers. And I will, as an aside, say when I was there in the spring, I attended a different party with these guys, and we drank 2 things. One of which was Pájaro Azul, a bluebird. It's a very popular trago, like hooch, that they have there. And what was the other thing? The other thing was trago. But then they mixed it up in blenders and it had these kind of fruity drinks, so you knew it was strong, but you couldn't really taste it. And I haven't been that messed up, blackout drunk. I don't remember getting back to my bed, and I won't go into the hangover that I suffered the next day, which is, man, I haven't had a hangover in, 20 years. This one really knocked me out. So when they brought out the beers, I'm like, okay, this is the strongest stuff we're drinking. I am not going to repeat what happened before. Hangover there, the word for it is Chuchaki, which is a hilarious word and not a hilarious experience. Oh man, it was horrible. Literally all day it was just like, why? Come on, 54, you know better. What are you doing? But we were sitting around having a few beers. They brought out a speaker, played some music, and we had a nice conversation. And after all the beer was gone, they said, hey, we're going to go back over. There's a sort of karaoke bar that somebody has set up in their place. We're going to go over there and continue celebrating Christmas and this lady's birthday, and invited me to that. And at that point it was about 10 o'clock, and I was leaving the next day and I hadn't fully packed, and I just politely declined and gave him a few bucks for the dinner and the beers, and like, yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Hope you guys have a great time. Thank you for inviting me. I definitely had a great time. And with that, they went their way, and I went up to my room, continued packing a little bit, set the alarm for first thing in the morning because I had a huge day of travel ahead of me, which I was not at all looking forward to. But I was looking forward to getting to Colombia, and this is just part of life on the road. It's going to be a series of buses and taxis and an entire day basically sitting in a vehicle of some kind, and the rest of the day moving my stuff into a different vehicle. I have had enough hungover days in my life and challenging travel days to know you do not want to mix these 2 things together because it is not going to end well for me. Now, however you choose to celebrate or not celebrate Christmas, I hope it was a great event for you. I hope you got to spend time with the people that are important to you, doing things that were fun, and hopefully you didn't have to suffer the company of people that you'd rather avoid. Christmas time is always famous for that. I hope that New Year's was awesome for you. We had a very quiet New Year's up here with my hosts. We actually went to a mass. I didn't make it to midnight this year at New Year's, and I was happy to just be up here on a farm overlooking the city of Pasto in Colombia in the mountains. A very peaceful New Year's Eve and a very enjoyable New Year's Day. Any comments or questions, let me know. I'm looking forward to launching the Wednesday series. That's where I will be answering specific questions, addressing specific comments, talking about safety on the road, especially about logistics, about visas, border crossings, any other travel tips that I can pass along. If you're interested in living like this, doing a longer trip, or living life on the road like a nomad or an itinerant traveler, I'm happy to share the lessons that I've learned, relearned, and new lessons that I'm learning all the time to make it easier for you to get out on the road, see the world, and live life to the fullest. So hopefully you enjoyed an inside look at Christmas in the Amazon in an indigenous community. Like I said, I don't think I'm ever going to experience that again, and I'm very grateful I got to experience it. Thank you very much for stopping by. Happy New Year. Looking forward to another year of content. The channel is growing. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed recently, and very grateful for everybody who has subscribed to the channel since its inception. Happy trails, Happy New Year, see you out on the road.